Welcome to another episode of TeeVo The Beard.
You can't see us, but I'm TeeVo, and that is The Beard. And, well, today is, I wanted it to be the Star Trek episode. Because,
all right. I concur with this 100%.
Because the finale happened, how long ago was the finale?
On the 11th.
On the 11th?
Something like that,
of this month?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, I do not have the all access, so I was, my viewing is literally the spoiler synopsis.
Right.
But there are a lot of things that go over my head, being, a very casual at best Star Trek fan.
And also it's a visual show, so, reading synopsis, you can only get so much.
But, I wanted to make sure to talk to you about it, because you are a resident Trekkie.
Right.
You are a fan of the show.
Oh, very much
Not
so.
just Star Trek in general, but you are a fan of this show.
Yes.
So
yes. It's quickly becoming my second favorite of the Star Trek franchise.
So once the finale happened, I wanted to make sure we had plenty of time to talk about this, because we usually used to do kind of shows and like bullet points.
Right.
This one, because finale is where everything comes to a conclusion. The writers and showrunners put some of their best stuff in the finales.
Oh,
because it's all paying off.
For sure. Yeah.
It pays off. You can have episodes that really stand out, but ultimately your finale is the one you want people to be like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Here, thank you for watching. Here is your treat. Please come back.
Yes, and I will definitely have stuff to add along those lines.
Right. Well, before we do that, let's. I had an icebreaker.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with Star Trek. So aside from the icebreaker, it is a Star Trek episode.
We're gonna boldly go after the icebreaker.
So this is music based though.
Okay.
It's music based.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an artist or group or just like a musical act that you weren't a fan of at first, but then maybe you saw them in something else, or like say if there's a singer, you might have saw them in a movie or a TV show, and then you kind of look at them differently, and then you hear their music post that, and you're like, okay,
I understand it now.
or maybe because I know you better now, I do like you now. You ever had that kind of a connection?
I would have to say the first one that pops into my mind is Ed Sheeran.
Oh.
Who Mrs. Beard is a huge fan of from the beginning.
I can fully see that.
Yeah. But with me, it was kind of like, I never really got his music because he doesn't really stick to one genre, which is cool.
Yeah.
But if I'm listening to an album, I kind of want that album to kind of stick to one thing.
I would assume when you said that, maybe you were going to say his sound is just not your demographic.
Right.
And that's okay, because there are some female artists right now that, I think are very beautiful, and I would like to follow your music career, but your songs just don't resonate to me in my life right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I think that's fine. I am clearly not the only demographic in the world.
Yeah.
So.
Mine, though, the time I connected to Ed Sheeran, and I'm not, a gung-ho fan of him now, but I don't avoid his work. If I see he's done something with somebody or he has a new music video out, I'll at least check it out now. But
what was that moment?
It was Hobbit, Misty Mountain.
See,
the song he did on there.
See, I thought, similarly, I'm going to say this. I thought that was my moment with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah?
It's not.
It's not, okay.
It's just, I'm still not there yet.
Okay.
And I'm not opposed to it. It's just he keeps putting stuff out there, and while Shape of You is catchy, it's just it's catchy in the fact that they play it 1,000 times. So you might as well. Yeah. But we're not there. I thought Lord of the Rings was going to be that moment because Neil Finn, who does the first song,
right? Oh
my God, that is a fantastic. That is a fantastic song for the first Hobbit film.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they announced the second one, hey, we're gonna have Ed Sheeran. I was like, all right, you go with classic folksy, that type, to young hot one.
Right.
All right, whatever, sure.
Yeah.
Be my guest. And I was like, we're just not there yet.
Yeah.
We're just not there.
I can understand, yeah.
We're just not there. I only thought of this icebreaker because, so last night I was listening to 2 brand new songs from Janelle Monáe, who I've known for a while now. I've kind of maybe not known her when she first came out, but I think by her first real debut album, I was aware of her.
Now, for those of us who don't know, who would you compare her to?
She is, well, she, and I can be fact checked on that, but I believe her main, at least when she first came out, her main comparison, and I believe she worked with Prince.
Okay.
So she's like like a modern Prince.
Okay.
As loosely,
right?
Not like, oh my goodness, like this is a Prince incarnate. No, but if I had to like pull a legend to compare to, she is like the Prince type.
Okay, fair enough.
So I thought that was interesting at first.
Yeah.
But just listen to it, it's like, But I will say also Prince was more hip hop.
Okay.
Whereas Prince, Prince was Prince.
Prince was Prince, yeah.
He
was his own genre.
There is no other Prince, just like there is no other Michael.
Right.
There's only one Prince. But I was like, I want to like you. I think you have an interesting concept. She has a lot of concepts, that kind of loose term in her music. Okay. But it's just not working. Yeah. And then last year, starting with, late 2015, she started getting cast in like a couple films I was watching, like Moonlight and prominently Hidden Figures. She was one of the 3 women in Hidden Figures. Okay. So they said, Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, and Janelle Monáe. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were a music person, but, hey, I mean, whatever,
Yeah, and as history has shown us, just because you can do one does not mean you can do the other.
Yes. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Right. If you can, of course, please try. But
unless you're Fergie, then stop trying.
Yes. So I watched both films. And I thought, man, okay. I didn't expect, at least one's a period piece, so she can't bring out her flavor. Right. And then one, well, it wouldn't have worked anyway. So I was like, okay, this is an interesting. I like you as a performer. You haven't done a lot of films, but I just something about her film work, her acting work, was like, okay, I like this. Okay. So she came out with 2 new songs for her new album. It's called Dirty Computer. Okay. I was like, okay. But she released the 2 music videos, and I listened to those 2 songs for a solid hour on repeat. Okay. So I don't know what it is now. It was like, all right, I'm on your band now. Yeah. It's just one of those moments where, and I even YouTube after binging those 2 songs, some of the old ones, and it's like, we'll just stick with now on. Right, yeah. Because it's like, because I thought maybe now that I have clarity in my ears. Right. And it's like,
no, it doesn't always work like that.
but I'm a fan of this stuff onward. From February 22nd onward.
Right, yeah. One that Little Beard is trying to get me into is Taylor Swift.
She has a song with Ed Sheeran right now.
She does, and yeah.
I literally just heard it walking to our studio here.
And it's all right. Yeah. But it's also with...
We're not there yet.
No.
We're not there yet.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'll ever be on the Tay-Tay bandwagon.
I was strictly just talking about that song, because I do enjoy the Swifties. And maybe not as much now. Yeah. But, that's a whole different other podcast. Oh, yeah. But nonetheless, I was like, okay. Then I heard her song with Mr. Sharon. It's like, it really goes to the Ed Sheeran thing. Like, we're not there. Yeah. This doesn't help either of you.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely not on the same level as Mrs. Beard with Ed Sheeran, but, I definitely understand it a little bit more now.
But I take it, so now if Mrs. Beard is playing Ed Sheeran, you're not trying to not listen.
Right, and I do catch myself singing along with songs now, including The Shape of You, which...
Well, I mean, that's...
Radio is kind of ruining that one, and she'll even admit.
But it brings you closer.
It does, yes.
And at the end of the day, that's the most important.
That's what music's all about.
It is.
Yeah.
But now on to Star Trek.
How about you know what else brings people together? Star Trek.
Okay, now, you're going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting as the person who watches the show.
Right.
Because I have questions based on the synopsis I read.
And this is a show that I watch uninterrupted. I don't have my phone out. I don't have any other distractions going on.
Now, do you watch this with the family, or is it you?
This has been just me, just because Mrs. Beard is working on her master's degree, so she doesn't really have time in the evening to watch things that aren't S.H.I.E.L.D. or something that she already has an interest in. Right. And there's no way I'm letting Little Beard watch this yet. No, this is definitely the reason.
Star Trek in general, or just this Star Trek?
Just this Star Trek.
Okay.
Because there's a reason that CBS has this on their own platform. It's not on regular network TV.
Right.
And there's just some things she's not ready for yet, and some things I don't need her repeating yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I see you have a kind of breakdown of the whole show.
I was about to say, an extensive group of synopsi.
So being that it's the finale,
Mm-hmm.
and being that we dedicated not just a segment, but we're doing the whole show on Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
How about this? Tell me your favorite episode so far, minus the finale. Let's not talk about the finale.
Right.
Let's talk about your favorite episode and one that just... Because every season of even a great show
Mm-hmm.
has one that, you don't have to probably watch again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the one you don't have to watch again, the one filler episode, I'm trying to remember the title of it here,
Mm-hmm.
This is actually going to be one episode I'm going to have to edit out the silence because I'm trying to read at the same time here. Where is it? Because I even mentioned it in one of our episodes.
Could it be that you just love everything?
Well, it's that, but it is the one filler episode where Saru, Burnham, and Tyler go down to this planet to figure some things out, and it's it's not really that much of an episode. I mean, it's...
Maybe you're thinking about a different Star Trek.
No, it's definitely this one, because it's the only one that has those three characters, and that's the problem. It's that much of a filler episode that I actually cannot find it on my on my synopsis here.
Okay, well, besides not being able to say the title of the episode, why do you think it's one of the ones your least favorite of the season?
Because
even though they split it into two parts, I mean, it was the winter, so it's still this season,
right? Yeah.
So
it's because it was one of those episodes, and we see this on
any show
where they had one thing they needed to tell the audience.
What was that?
But this was all about how the plants grow that they use to transport and all that. They had one thing to tell the audience, but they had 45 minutes to fill. And so there's a lot that goes on that it's not that it doesn't pay off later, it's just that it doesn't have to. Everything that happens is encapsulated within this one episode. I don't think they could have given that information to us in any other way, which is kind of annoying.
So
it needed to exist.
So you were stuck with it. It's
right. But there's no need to rewatch it.
So I take it, if you were to buy the series,
mm-hmm.
or at least the season so far,
right,
you probably watch it just as a collective viewing. But
oh yeah, and I would definitely rewatch it.
You might be multitasking during it.
Yeah, if Mrs. Beard wanted to watch the show, I would definitely watch it with her, and I would be engaged watching that episode with somebody else. But right. Yes, if I had it playing by myself, it would be background noise, and who knows, I might pick up something here or there that I missed the first viewing. But
now, from what you told me before we recorded, you were very satisfied with the finale.
Oh, yes.
So minus the finale, what is another standout episode? Like, what's an episode you would really recommend?
Choose Your Pain.
Why is that?
The fifth episode? Yeah, let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. Yeah, because that was the one where we have Harry Mudd.
Okay.
Played by Rainn Wilson.
Uh-huh.
Who is an established character already in the Star Trek universe.
Right.
He plays it so well. It's an episode that takes place mostly in one scene, or one set. It's a prison cell. Oh. But we learn about Lorca. We learn about... we learn a lot of exposition through Harry Mudd, mm-hmm. and it's done in such a way where it doesn't feel like exposition, if that makes sense. It feels like you're actually in prison with these guys, and you're learning as they go. You're learning more about the Klingons. You're learning more about, why this war is going on. And you're also seeing through Mudd that there are people that are not directly in the war, but in his case, since he is a scoundrel, are using this kind of thing to their advantage, benefiting from the war. Because in his case, he's benefiting from the technology that's used, and he can sell information to both sides. He is a scoundrel in the true sense, not in the Han Solo sense. You
now-
love to hate him.
Now, I remember when you talked about this when it first aired
Mhm.
on our episode that when we did that.
Mm.
And I can't remember exactly, but you definitely commented on the notion of like new show aesthetics, old show aesthetics. What was the comparison there? Like positive or was it? I can't remember.
This one was positive because Rainn Wilson, who most people know from The Office.
Right.
He was Harry Mudd in Star Trek. He was not Dwight as Harry Mudd.
Right.
And you can see, if you take out the special effects and all that, and the HD versus SD, you can see Rainn Wilson becoming the 1960s version of Harry Mudd. Though his mannerisms, the way he enunciates certain things, the way he acts, it looks like this is Harry Mudd.
Now I remember. Now I remember a little bit more about. So you definitely said Rainn Wilson did his homework.
He did. He watched the 2 or 3 episodes from the original series and studied.
Now is this a character that you have to be pretty intently a Trekkie to know?
Oh no.
No. Because you just said 2 or 3 episodes.
Right,
but the span of how long this show has.
Well, if you know the original series, you know this character.
Okay.
The episodes he's in, he's a major character in those episodes. But it's one of those where if you've never seen the original series, you'll still enjoy his character because they explain enough that you get what he's doing and who he is. You don't have to know his future.
Okay.
Because I have to kind of look at it in my head as like, okay, it's our past watching it, but his future self. There'll be certain things like his mannerisms and stuff that, as a Trekkie,
you're gonna get,
but it enhances the character.
Well, it's like I suppose it's like during this week, I've talked to a lot of people who've seen Black Panther, and a lot of new audiences to the MCU because I'm referencing things like. There are lines that they talk about other things and all this stuff, and I'm saying, I can't, I like how they did that, and they were just like, what?
Yeah.
Like it was like, what do you mean? If you watch the other ones, it was an easy pick. Yeah. It was like, oh, I didn't watch it. Oh, but I think that's why it was good because you didn't. This flew way over your head.
Right.
But you still like the movie.
Yeah.
So something like Rainn Wilson doing this, he's gonna do some of those things, and you're just saying, hey, cool character thing.
Right.
Not, oh my goodness, you are so good at doing this thing that someone else did so long ago.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, as a Trekkie, the experience was enhanced. But if if
I were to watch it.
If you were to watch it, you would still really enjoy his character. You would understand his character. The only difference is if you had if we had never talked about Mudd at all, and you didn't know that he is a existing character in their future, you wouldn't know if he was going to survive because they do put him in certain situations where I know he's going to survive, and it's entertaining trying to see how he gets out of it.
Right.
But as a more casual viewer, you might think, oh, is he going to make it? Is he not? Because a lot of these characters.
Now is he now so far? Is he one of the few people in the show that it's an existing character?
He is. Yeah, there have been mentions of other characters, such as captains and things like that.
Yeah.
But he's the only one. And he's also the only character who is in only 3 episodes that plays a major part. Because if you go through the IMDb and look at the other actors who have been in like 2 or 3 episodes, sometimes they don't even have a name.
Right.
Sometimes it's like Klingon officer. But yeah, he's the only one that has a standout part.
So there we have it. The best one is with Harry Mudd.
Yes.
And the worst is the filler.
Right.
But
it's worst out of the 15.
Okay. But it is a filler.
It is a filler. Yeah.
Now,
it's one that if you have not, if you've not watched this season, you can't skip because there is important information within that 45 minutes.
Now, when you say filler, this sounds like only one filler episode of the season. Are you saying it's the worst of the fillers or the other fillers?
That's really the only filler because everything else, It has.
You really have to know.
It has a lot, yeah, and it has a lot going on. I'm not sure the exact minute mark where in the filler it gives you the information.
Uh-huh.
That's why you kind of have to watch it, because it's not like they tell you at the beginning of the episode.
And you're just slogging through.
Right. So you are sitting there waiting for the information, and then you get it, and then you're like, the episode's still going.
So what you're saying is the show creators and writers, they were like, oh crap, wait, how many episodes is in the season?
15.
Oh crap, we have 14 hours.
Right.
And they're like, CBS All Access is paying 15.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Guess we got to give this one line of information within the context of 45 minutes of show.
There we go.
Yeah. But good on them for being able to do that.
Well, I mean, and for 15, it's not the full 22, 24 you get with other shows.
Yeah.
But, fillers fillers have to happen.
Yeah.
I wish they didn't, and I wish going on whatever show, whether it be on actual broadcast TV, streaming, or something like that, people who pay and fund these shows, run these shows, write these shows, will actually say, like, this is the story. I wish they didn't fit the mold of like Netflix 13 or network TV shows 22. If it's this much, then it's this much.
Right. Yeah.
And I think maybe it's just the pure naivete, optimist in me, but I feel like it's maybe going there.
Yeah.
Because, this is 15. It's funded by a CBS.
Yeah.
Netflix, they shorten these shows. If they were on a TV, network TV, they'd be 20-something episodes. They're shortened to 13.
Whether they needed to be or not.
Not. I'm not saying 13 is the optimal thing, but
right.
I think they're kind of getting to the point where they are looking at the story,
right,
rather than numbers.
Yeah. And when I say the worst out of the 15 episodes, I mean that's only comparing it to itself.
Yeah. There
are worse Star Trek episodes out there. There are more boring episodes out there.
Other shows that I love dear to my heart, but there are some fillers.
Yeah. Yeah. So
off the top of my head, I can name like at least 10 Shield ones.
Yeah.
And I love it, but
right.
I can be honest, there were fillers.
Because even while this would make number 15 if I was ranking these, it still was good TV.
Yeah. It really was one of the moments where I'd say if you had to pick your best,
right,
and you had to pick your worst, and it just happened to draw the short end of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now we got all that out of the way.
Yes.
Little pre-taste of the season so far. Let's talk about the finale.
Yes. So
I'm gonna let you kind of give a plot, because what spoilers I read, the main thing that I was able to gravitate was some of the reveals.
Right.
I don't know, like story-wise, because as you said, this half of the season, surprising to you in every way, has been one story arc.
Yes, and it's been 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically 4 full episodes within the Mirror Universe, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
And also there have been reveals from this that I didn't expect. I mean, I had suspicions on things that was going on, but I wouldn't have guessed that they would have been revealed the way they were. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the rest of this episode will be spoiler full.
Yes. My questions were born on spoilers.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you don't want anything to be spoiled because there are things you won't guess, then stop now, go watch, come back.
But you said this did air itself on the 11th?
Right. Yeah.
It is now the 23rd.
Right.
So
you've had time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I had family things going on, so I didn't get to watch it when it aired. So I will give people a little bit of a pass this time.
Yeah.
So when you refer to the finale, are you referring just to episode 15 or 14 and 15?
It was a two-parter, right?
Kind of. See, that's the thing about this. This season was not episodic in the traditional way that Star Trek is. So they have it as chapter 1 and chapter 2. I would go as far as saying the first 2 episodes of the season were like the epilogue. Yeah, that's before, right? No. Epilogue's at the beginning. Prologue, yeah. Which is funny because one of the last episodes is called The Past is Prologue. So when they're on the Shinzu and you have Filippo Giorgio and all that as the captain, then from episode 3 till episode 9.
You said that when they aired the first two on TV.
Mhm.
You said it felt that way, that while it was an introduction, it didn't feel like you were really starting the show yet.
Right, yeah. It's episode 3 through 9 that we get Michael Burnham's story.
The ones that they didn't put on
Yeah,
TV.
right. And also the ones where you're actually on the Discovery.
Right.
And then from 9, we get the hint that we're going into the mirror universe. And then from 10 through 13, we're in the mirror universe.
Right.
So that's another arc by itself. And then from 13 through 15, we're getting out of the mirror universe and back into where the excrement has hit the fan.
Now, I did read a spoiler, and I don't know when it happened, so indulge me on this.
Okay.
Lorca dies?
Yes, and very rightly so.
Okay, well, now when did that happen?
That was in episode 14.
Okay, so
before, or was it in 13?
well, my question was,
it was in 13.
Well, my question is, so he's gone?
He's gone. Yeah.
So he's the captain when they announced the cast list.
Yeah.
That's not anymore.
Well, so what had happened was,
okay.
So in past episodes when we've talked about Star Trek, I've had my ups and downs with Lorca.
Yes.
And I wasn't sure if it was, because this actor is also Malfoy's dad, and he's got a history of being a not good guy. They kept giving hints that there was something off with him,
right?
That he just wasn't quite right. And when they go into the mirror universe, he mentions the fact that they haven't run into his opposites. Come to find out, the reason for that is he is the mirror universe.
He is the opposite,
right? And so at first, I'm like, okay. So you're opposite Lorca, and you're against the evil empire, the Tarian Empire of the Mirror Universe, so you must be good. Okay, you're redeeming yourself again. But then come to find out, he's not good. He's just on the flip side of the same bad coin.
Okay.
He wants to be in charge of everything instead of Emperor Georgia. Mm-hmm. And so he's still going to run things a bad, evil way, but he would be the one in charge. So this is all kind of explained through, different things. His whole thing from being in our universe was to trick the Discovery into taking him to the Mirror Universe to defeat Giorgio, to take over, to have this empire himself. So that the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Okay.
So he's already the enemy of Emperor Giorgio. Uh-huh. He then becomes the enemy of, Michael Burnham and the Discovery.
Right.
So
I take it they find all this stuff out.
They do. Yeah. And it's again one of those things where it's a very visual show. So there's a lot going on you have to watch.
Right.
You can't just, read about or hear about on a podcast. So, but it's a very cool way that they do it, because Burnham it was a lot like watching a video game. You have Lorca's little army that he's recruited.
Uh-huh.
You have Giorgio's army that she's already established in the Mirror Universe.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of no-name people that are getting shot and dying. That's bound to happen.
Yes.
There's a couple times that Emperor Giorgio is in precarious situations, but you're like, no, she can't die, because obviously she and Lorca are the ones that have to fight at the end.
Yeah.
Because, you always have the big boss battle.
Right.
And it ends up being almost like that, but it ends up being Giorgio against Michael.
Okay.
But Michael can't pull the trigger. And
because that's
not Giorgio, sorry, Lorca versus Michael.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. Oh. But Michael is very Federation, the Federation. So she's like, we don't just go murdering people. So she's got her phaser aimed right at Lorca, won't pull the trigger. All of a sudden, Emperor Giorgio stabs Lorca right through the back with a sword. Yeah. And I'm sitting there watching that like, didn't see that coming. Didn't know Giorgio was even behind him at the time. Because she's like, I can't pull the trigger. And Giorgio's like, well, I can. So, and he is completely dead. He is wiped out of existence. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So...
And I also did not see that, because I thought, okay, they're going to end up bringing him back to this universe, arrest him, he'll spend time in prison or whatever, they'll get a new captain, but he's still going to exist, because you don't just kill main characters. Yeah, you do.
Okay. So my next question, even though we're probably skipping so much, is
Yeah.
So because he was the captain.
Of Discovery, yeah.
Yeah, he was the person sitting in the nice chair.
Yeah.
Phasers on.
Yeah.
Warp speed.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it now? Is it Michael?
No. Well, the captain we get in the final 2 episodes is Giorgio. Because they bring her back to our universe. They're going to get, they need her help defeating the Klingons, because that's what the whole binary star war, the war of binary stars from the previous arc was about, the Federation versus the Klingons. And she's dealt with Klingons in the Empire, in her empire, so they're going to try, an enemy and my enemy is my friend.
She's a bad guy.
She is a bad guy. And they're keeping
Did anybody have reserves about this?
Michael did.
Okay.
Because her and the Admiral are the only ones that know she's from, that this is not our universe's Giorgio.
Oh, so they're faking.
They're faking it.
So how did they explain? Because her character died.
They say that, and it's such a BS thing, and I'm surprised any of the characters fall for it. They say, "Oh, she miraculously survived." It's like, no. It's like you all believe that, yeah.
Okay, so she's captain.
Of the Discovery.
For the last 2.
For the last 2, yeah.
Does something happen to her?
Yeah, she ends up... the Federation the reason they end up making her captain, come to find out, is because they want to do something that's against Federation rules. They want to blow up the Klingon homeworld in order to stop the world. Stop the war. So basically they want to commit genocide.
Oh, it would stop the world.
Yeah. They want to commit genocide, which is against Federation policy.
The Discovery.
Well, it's against Starfleet Federation.
No, but the Discovery wants to blow up the world.
Well, they want to use the Discovery to get the bomb into Kronos.
Okay.
Yeah. So since they're not going to be able to convince any actual Starfleet Federation person to do this, they see, oh, we have a Terrian Emperor here who has no problem blowing up people. We'll put her in the seat of the captain as the captain, so everybody has to follow what she says. But then, thanks to Michael, she gets a whole change. There's a whole change of heart scene where she's like, Michael explains to her, hey, you can have your freedom. You can go do whatever you want in this universe, basically. But don't do anything bad or I'll get you. It's almost literally said like that. It's not one of the best scenes, but it does make sense. And, will not blow up Kronos. There is another way to do this, to take care of the Klingon problem.
Okay.
There's a more peaceful way of doing it. And it all works out. It all pays off there because Michael takes the detonator, gives it to Laurel, who ends up making herself the leader of the Klingons by saying, hey, I've got a detonator that can blow up Kronos. Either you guys all follow me and we have peace with the Federation, or we lose our home planet. Okay. So everything seems to be A-okay now. And will we see Giorgio in future seasons? I think so.
Not Lorca.
Not Lorca. Not unless there's a flashback.
So is that pretty much the plot? Because now my next question is the real spoiler stuff.
Yeah.
So I heard Red Tail.
Mm-hmm.
So something syncs up with the old show?
Yes.
Please elaborate.
Yeah. So,
because while the article did a good job kind of telling me, because they can't explain every single thing. So This is where when I read it, I was like, well, I can't wait for the Beard to watch this.
Yes.
Because I'm curious, and I also need an explanation.
I literally have chill bumps now thinking about this last scene again.
Now, so the plot of the last 2 episodes was this Klingon situation.
Right. Yeah. Because when they came back from the Mirror Universe, come to find out they overshot a little bit, and they're 9 months late. While they were gone, Klingons took over more of the Federation than they would have liked.
Whoops.
So, fast forward through all that now. So, Lorca, gone. Giorgio, on the run. Mud, you'll see in the original series. I don't think we're going to see him in season 2.
Really?
There's no reason to have him in season 2.
Yeah.
If they can write him in well, I fully support bringing Rainn Wilson back. If not, don't force him in just because he's a
Just because you're saying it right now.
Yeah.
Just because for a miraculous reason, one of the persons who writes for Star Trek Discovery says, "Oh, well, the Beard loves it.
Right.
We got to put him back."
Right. Yeah. Make it work though.
Don't just do it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No. If he's gonna be hand-fisted in there, then just leave him out.
Yeah.
Well, we can go on Netflix and all these other streaming services and watch the original series. We can have the character still. So after all this, of course, the Admiral sees that Michael did have a good idea about how to end things peacefully.
Mm.
Michael is seen as a hero. All of her past crimes and stuff from her mutiny back in episode 1 and 2.
The prologue.
The prologue have been resolved.
Yay.
It's just like, no, you've done great. You're the type of person we need. No, don't get ahead of me because that's not what happened.
Oh.
You're the type of person that we need in the Federation, so she is given back her. She does get to wear the insignia again. The insignias now, instead of just being that generic Star Trek insignia, now have symbols on them. Very familiar symbols that represent if they're part of the command, if they're medical, or if they're science.
I thought that was shirts.
The shirts that fits in later, but if you think of the Abram verse, how each one has a different symbol on there.
I honestly,
you didn't pay that close attention.
Well, I just noticed one's wearing yellow, one's wearing red, one's wearing
because that's
blue.
the easiest way to tell from a distance.
I am now.
Yeah.
Well, you were pointing it out. I just noticed the look in your eye. You're like, "Come on!" I'm like, "I'm sorry."
I sometimes forget. Not everybody is a Trekkie.
I'm sorry.
Just Star Trek fans out there. So they have that connection there.
Okay.
They have you see the leaders of the Federation.
Okay.
So you have Spock's dad is there.
Right.
And he's going to hop aboard the Discovery because they're going to Vulcan.
Cool.
Because the Discovery needs a new captain. So as of right now, the acting captain is Saru.
Okay.
Doug Jones' character.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to watch a season of just him as captain because he is one of those characters who his species is bred as food. And he is one who has kind of gone beyond that and made something of himself. And he doesn't put up with anybody's...
I'm sorry. Just that notion of like it. Just...
Imagine a cow leading the ship. Yeah.
Well, it's just like, I just have this funny thought in my head of him at the dinner table is like, we're bred to be what we're eating.
Yeah.
How dare you think about things that you're not?
I know, right?
How dare you try to be something other than poop?
That's probably what his origin story would be like there.
Yeah.
But he has been kind of acting captain during the whole Mirror Universe thing. And he has shown that he's got what it takes. Will they use that in season 2? Who knows? So they're going to Vulcan to get Discovery a new captain.
Why do they need to go to Vulcan?
It's only logical.
Okay.
No, they don't really explain, but when all else fails, use Vulcan logic to explain it.
It makes you feel like you happier.
Yes.
Okay.
On the way there,
Okay.
on the way, because they don't make it to Vulcan in this final episode.
Okay.
There's a distress call coming in from another ship. So they drop out of warp and they can't get a clear feed on who it is calling over there.
Okay.
So Saru asks them to find out, well, what is the call number from the ship coming? And they have the little display screen. And this reminded me of when Hydra was revealed on S.H.I.E.L.D. because they're revealing it like one little character at a time of what the call number is. And it comes up NCC1, which so far matches the Discovery. 7, and right then I was like, I had nerd tears welling up in my eyes. I had the hairs on my arm lifting, and then it ended with 01, which is the USS Enterprise.
So, because when the show first started,
Mm-hmm.
they said it was before.
Well, it's before Kirk's time.
Oh.
And they said we're being hailed by Captain Christopher Pike.
And he was in the Abrams films.
Yes, and he's also in the regular chronology. He comes before Kirk.
So his character is definitely
So that's, and it shows the Discovery comes out of orbit, and they show an Enterprise the Enterprise ship coming up to Discovery in the final scene, and then they start when they roll the final credits. They're playing the original Star Trek theme song.
Okay.
So it's just like total nerdgasm.
You don't see the crew of the Enterprise.
You don't see the crew.
I take it they're gonna give you that in season 2.
I'm guessing so. Yeah.
They better.
This was an excellent cliffhanger because season 2, from what I read, is not coming until 2019.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to hold people for that long, you have to have a big reveal coming.
So that's kind of what I got. I just wanted to make sure before I ask questions.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so that's I understood that.
Yeah.
So Kirk is not the captain.
No.
So we would not see, is Spock there?
See, that's don't know yet. And we don't know if we'll see a Kirk, because there was a time when Kirk worked on the Enterprise under Pike.
Uh-huh.
So when this is, and
you're telling me that he's not just some punk kid like Chris Pine?
He's not like Chris Pine. So Pike began being the captain 11 years before Kirk.
Okay.
So there is a chance we could see a young version of this timeline's Kirk, not Abramverse Kirk.
Oh.
That's not to say he won't still be a little bit of a punk kid, because some things are true in each version.
Right.
But yeah, no, it is a nice way for them to start connecting the dots.
But you just don't know who in the crew, like who in the crew was there before Kirk.
Yeah, that
of the ones we know and love.
That I'm not 100% sure on.
So we could be seeing some recasting or a whole new batch of people just on the Enterprise, right?
Right, because in The Cage, which was the original pilot for the original series, Christopher Pike was captain. His number 1 was a female. CBS did not like this, so they kind of had to unofficially scrap that. So it still exists as canon, but the first episode, it then becomes the Captain Kirk, Spock episode. The funny thing about that, to connect to the real world, Pike's number 1, the female, was played by Gene Roddenberry's wife, whose birthday is today.
Oh,
if she was still alive.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, I had to take it to a dark place, I guess. But yeah, so there's
you're saying that you just don't know.
No, and it's what I'm really enjoying about Discovery is the fact that they've taken this section of time,
because like when shows do stuff like things that happen before established time points that we know and love, sometimes it can get repetitive, predictive.
Right.
You're still entertained, but like when you were saying with Harry Mudd, he's gonna make it.
Right.
Classic, prequel logic.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you established that this takes place before this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, unless you plan to change things,
right,
he's going to make it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like throughout the whole time we talk about the show is that this show hasn't really done that as predictive as some can be.
No, and that's the good thing about using these unknown or completely made up characters like Saru, who did not exist before or after, as far as we know, the Discovery show. You can do it.
Does that make you worried for him?
It does.
Okay.
It does, because you don't hear about his species in any version of Star Trek after this.
So then it now reminds me a little bit about Rogue One.
Yeah.
Before you see Rogue One, it's like, none of you exist. So either you hid,
right,
or what happened in the movie.
Yeah, it's like something's going to happen to him, and I don't think it's going to be retiring on some beach planet somewhere.
He might actually fulfill his family's destiny.
Right.
Okay.
Become somebody's meal. Or he could go out with a bang, It could be some real heroic moment, I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, depending on where it is, someone can still find him and be someone's meal.
That's true, too. Yeah. So, that'll be off camera, though. So, as fans, we can be like, no, he went out a hero.
And then the writer's like, oh, no.
No, he became a happy meal.
He did go out like a hero.
Yeah.
But, post-mortem.
Right.
He was a happy meal.
Yeah.
He made someone happy. That's a happy meal.
That's true, yeah. So yeah,
he made many people happy. If he goes out like a hero, he makes the crew that survives happy. And someone is hungry.
Yeah, and they actually made a hero sandwich out of them.
They are then happy because they ceased to be hungry.
Yeah, we went the real dark timeline on this.
Well, I mean, hey, they started it. If that's what
true.
you said, that's how his species is supposed to be.
Yeah,
you started it.
Yeah,
you started people.
That's true. Yeah,
you don't put it there if you don't want us to take it there.
Mm-hmm. And before seeing the finale, because the fact there was going to be a season 2, that's been announced for a couple months now. I was already happy that there was going to be a season 2, but then seeing how this ended, I'm now excited that there's going to be a second one.
Now, my main question after reading that reveal and having explained like that, so one of the big questions is, are they going to show the classic characters?
Right.
And therefore, if you show them, you got to recast them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's just that.
Yeah.
That's just that.
You have to have a young Christopher Pike.
Yeah. How would you feel about seeing a different person playing these people?
Well,
I'm not going to say who, because I don't know who was there, but let's just say,
Well, we'll start with Pike, because that one we know. I mean, if he's the one sending the distress signal, we know we're going to see him. That one's going to be an easy one to do, because he was like in one full episode and like a couple flashback episodes of the original series.
1.5 Abram movies.
Yeah, we see him for a total of like 5 minutes in the Abram movies.
In the beginning, and then he dies. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. So he's been cast multiple times already. As long as they put a strong character in there, because his character is a man's man, sort of cowboy type character, even more so than Kirk. So as long as they keep that, they can do whatever else they want with them. They can't have a softie in that position. It just wouldn't work. As far as seeing younger versions of some of the other characters, I'm all for it. But just like with
because now with you can accept it with the Abrams movies,
right?
They're new
because these actors did their research.
Yeah, but these are new feature. These are new feature films set in a different universe,
right?
So you can kind of be like, okay, well, that's this version. You can do this, but you're trying to tell, with this show, whether what they show or not, you're telling me that those people.
Yes, and so as much as the Abram kids did their homework, most of us fans still give them a little leeway here and there. It's like, well, would Spock be acting like this? No, but this is Abram versus Spock, so we'll give him a little free space there.
Right.
And even within the Abramverse, he's in a different timeline versus old Spock and all that. Spock Prime, yeah. With this one, whatever actors they put are going to have to sit down with the original series, with the original movies, with notebook in hand, and be taking extensive notes.
Some of them can still talk to the original people.
Yes, yeah. They need to have William Shatner on the set say, no, I would not have done that. Because there will be, there'll be less wiggle room with this, because these are the ones that are going to grow up to be.
That's what I mean. It's like, with the Abrams, you can give them wiggle room, even though they do, even to a casual fan, you're like, yeah, that's them. Yeah. And, when you see Quinto when he had scenes with Nimoy, you're like, yeah, I can roll with this.
Yeah.
I mean, it helped that Leonard Nimoy was there.
Yeah,
Just in
that's
general.
true. Yeah,
Just in general, it helps when you had Leonard Nimoy still alive.
yeah,
But again, like you said, there's leeway because they're not those
Right.
characters.
yeah. So they can grow up to be their own people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a different version of that.
yeah,
These people that are going to be in Discovery, if they show them,
yeah.
because you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
They have to be these. They have to be that picture that Zachary Quinto was holding in Star Trek Beyond.
Mhm, yeah.
they got to be those people.
Because that's one thing with the Star Trek series I, they, even though it isn't like a show like 24 that's literally going hour by hour or day by day,
Mhm.
you take Discovery, it takes, in normal years, it takes place from 2256 to 2257.
Mhm.
It took place in our universe, 2017, 2018.
Ah,
It follows the same speed of time, so they're not jumping from, okay, with, the closest they did was they were like, okay, well, we went 9 months
Mhm.
in advance. They didn't say, okay, well, we came back and now it's 30 years in the future,
right.
and you can see that throughout each series, unless they're doing a time travel episode.
Yeah.
They stay, this is happening this year, this season is this year, this season is this year, and so on. So there is room between, 2257 and when Kirk becomes captain in 2265. There is time to see young Kirk. There's also time to not have Kirk.
You can or can't see.
Yeah, it's like, don't avoid him. Don't write him out of existence during this.
Because you don't want to mess with.
But like with Mud, don't force him in if it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they say 2019, they just mean 2019.
That's all they're saying so far. Yeah.
So you could be getting it really early, like the beginning of 2019, or
Mhm.
maybe the middle.
And like they showed us with season 1, just because they say a date doesn't mean anything.
So
because they
What
kept
I'm-
pushing back Discovery, and
what it was? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
to the point where I was even concerned that if we were ever getting it.
That's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that drama. Because they kept saying a date and they had a logo, but it's
Yeah.
like, you have no cast members.
Right.
You can't have a show.
You have filmed literally nothing. You have a CGI of the ship. That is all.
Yet you say you're coming at a certain time.
Yeah. And then it's like, no, we meant months after that.
So I take it from here until when they have a concrete, because you can say before season 1 started, they just had trouble with like Brian Fuller
Right.
and all that stuff. Now the show is in motion.
Right.
They have a better.
I trust dates a little more.
they probably have a better timeline of stuff now.
Right.
So what are you going to be excited with in the next few months? Because you're probably going to be learning things.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Casting wise.
Yeah, that and now that I have before watching the finale, because I actually watched episode 13, 14, and 15 all together because I had gotten behind.
Mhm.
So I made it a point to not read or look at anything that said Star Trek, no matter if it had to do with Discovery or anything else, because I wanted zero spoilers.
So if someone's like, "Hey, look at my Star Trek shirt,"
No, it's like, get it away. No, it's
No,
William Shatner's
shut up!
signature now.
Shut up!
No spoilers. But now I will be diving,
More into research.
more into it. Yeah, and I'm going to now catch up on the comic, the Discovery comic.
Okay.
There's a couple novels that are canon that are out.
Because reading the spoilers, now talking this, that was one thing that I was curious, like, oh wow, so like I said, they're gonna have to, if they show certain people, they don't show all,
Right. Mhm.
They're gonna have to really do some homework.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious, well, first, who are these people?
Mhm.
If that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I know the main image people use when talking about spoilers was Spock.
Right.
So what do you think? Are we going to see Spock? Are we going to have a Michael and Spock moment, or what? Is that too far in the cards for you?
I think that if they don't give us Spock in season 2 in some form, even if it's like one episode, family reunion episode,
Because
because they're going to Vulcan right now.
They're going to Vulcan,
Yeah.
and what's Spock's father's name?
Sarek. Sarek. Yeah.
Sarek is on the Discovery.
Yeah.
and along with his adopted
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah. So there's no reason to not. I would be more disappointed if we did not see Spock of all the originals than if we, saw everybody else but not Spock.
Right.
So because there's no
what do
reason
you
not
think?
to
Do you
have
think like that's going to be a thing, or I mean, if you had to guess?
If I had to guess, I would say, yeah, we're going to get Spock.
Yeah.
Are we going to get Spock one episode? Are we going to get him more? Who knows? Again, just like with Mud, fit him in if you can. If you can't, let's at least see him on Vulcan.
But at least, but what you're saying is like, you don't have to show any of the other old ones, but you're like, we need that one.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking Spock's dad to Vulcan, where Spock would presumably be training or whatever, so there's zero reason to not have him.
Yeah. Like Kirk's like, we can deal without.
Yeah. Because it could be even one of those things where it's like, yeah, you saw that guy in the background there who had no lines? That was Kirk.
Yeah.
You just didn't know it at the time. With Spock, no, we need lines. We need,
You need
interaction with him.
Well, unfortunately for that actor, should he be cast and created for the show, it's a shame that he cannot pick Mr. Nimoy's mind.
That's true. And also, I would hate to be that actor. Because those are some huge shoes to fill in the Star Trek verse.
Well, is that how you felt when Zachary Quinto took the part?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't trust him until I saw it.
Really?
Yeah, because you can do the look. When you do the bowl cut.
Oh, I was going to say, like, when
that.
you say saw it, you mean like a picture? Or, no.
No, I mean the film, because, I mean, with human characters, they're going to kind of look like them, Christopher Pine, who I almost called Pike there,
His name's Christopher.
Yeah, but Pine versus Pike. He kind of looks like a young Shatner, but not really. If you actually put the pictures side by side,
But then it helps also. It's the Aaronverse,
right?
But
Spock has a specific look.
Spock has a specific look, but like you can. You can probably be a little more fluid with Kirk than Spock.
Right. Yeah, because humans are all sorts of different.
Yeah.
But if you have a half Vulcan, half human, there's really only one, thing to look at for comparison, and that's original Spock.
Yeah.
So.
But nonetheless, he passed your test.
And now he has, yeah. And now I accept him as his Spock.
Not Nimoy.
No, he does not become the new Spock by any means in my mind. Nimoy is Spock through and through.
Well, wow, then this supposed actor, for this supposed character.
He could play young Spock. So we can put an adjective in front of him to make him acceptable.
All right, well, whenever that happens,
yeah,
I'm sure, we'll be looking out for casting details. Because, that's the route they're going to take. They're obviously going to be casting people.
Oh yeah, and if they're gonna, if he's gonna be in the first episode, I'm sure we'll hear announcements very soon.
I'm pretty sure it'll be in big bold letters, especially if someone is playing. I wouldn't be surprised unless they get a big name actor that they glaze over maybe who's playing Pike.
Right.
But if someone's playing those characters, you bet it's going to be in big bold letters.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, that's all the questions I had, and I feel like once I have access to watch this in the ways I like to, it definitely sounds like even though you spoiled the show for me comprehensively, it still sounds like an interesting show.
And they're still gonna. I mean, I would have to take another 14 hours to explain every single thing in there. So you might as well watch it.
Not 15.
Not 15. Because that one episode, I will just tell you a sentence.
So you will tell me exactly how it formulated before they blew it up to 45 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll save you the time on that one. But the rest of them, I would have to tell you like detail by detail. So you might as well watch it.
Okay. Well, then that's good.
Yeah. So, and for those out there who haven't seen it and they're still interested, I'd at least subscribe to 1 month of CBS All Access and watch it.
I mean, let me ask you this, because Hulu, you can pay your $6-8, whatever. Mm-hmm. Some of the shows are going to go away.
Right.
Like if you're watching a show that's airing right now, you cannot watch the whole show.
Right.
CBS All Access, let me ask you this. So if they were to use their free month right now, can you watch all 15 episodes?
Yes. Yes.
So theoretically, one can.
Theoretically, yes, but in the sticking out the olive branch to CBS All Access, which we have mentioned our problems with in the past, but to say give them $7.99 for 1 month.
Well, this is the thing. Is like, I mean, I know maybe, you know, we poke on CBS because they're one of the first to do this, but you know, a lot of this type of what they're doing is coming in the future. So CBS, if you're listening, we're going to talk about them too, maybe in the same light. So,
but they also get the benefit of learning from what CBS has done.
That's true.
By not having enough content at the moment, for one.
Oh yeah, like the major one right now is Disney.
Yeah,
the Disney one, but Disney's been around a lot longer than CBS.
Yeah, they have content,
and we don't know exactly what content they're going to show, but it better be like a lot of it.
Yeah.
I know the other one right now is the DC thing,
which it's already, in my opinion, suffering the same problem as CBS.
Well, even I know they're trying to get people hyped up with the Titans show. It's like, but how? It's just like CBS. It's gonna be a hard sell.
Yeah,
you're gonna like. One of us is going to have to try to watch it to justify. Like you did with Discovery.
Yeah,
you wanted to watch Discovery, and at first you didn't feel like this CBS thing. I want to watch the show. I don't agree with.
I didn't think it was fair at first.
Yeah. So that's what's going to happen with Titans. It's like somebody's going to have to tell us yes, or if they license it out to another person, watch it then.
Yeah, it's like if you can wait for Discovery to come to Netflix
or another. Whatever.
Well, I assume it'll come to US Netflix eventually, since it's on overseas Netflix. Then fine, but I recommend at least paying 1 month, and I also say pay 1 month instead of the 3 or 7 day trial, because some of this you're gonna want to watch more than once. At least 14 of the episodes. Probably not 14. Probably more like 10 of the episodes.
So the free trial is worth the filler episode.
Yeah. So make sure to watch that episode during the free time.
So if you had to pay for it, it's like, oh God, sorry.
Get that episode out of the way.
you will apologize and be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
All right. And we'll see you next week.